when we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved.
Yeah.
We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
Joe Rogan is a certified YouTube sensation. But then again, so is this guy.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
But like him or not, Rogan has some influence in the political arena, interviewing Trump on a show with over 100 million views. But the deal with Rogan is two things. One, he's influential like a virus, reaching or infecting tens of millions each week with his podcast. And number two, he won't be winning any Mensa competitions. Or maybe that's the point. Maybe he's allowed crazy anti-vax and anti-science info to go out unchallenged because it's spicy media. He wouldn't be the first. And his interview with Trump was like talking to Arnold from Green Acres, with apologies to Arnold. But like many who have been mildly supportive of MAGA or just simply didn't push back on Trump's insane comments, Rogan has found his footing and resistance in the Epstein drama and is truly pissed by Trump's inane and incessant diuretic responses.
He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. They talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Rogan is saying now something that many have been saying for years about Trump. Oh, this is the final straw. He's gone too far, but nothing changes. But this time, maybe?
President Trump has been unable still to avoid questions about Jeffrey Epstein, this time while he visits Scotland. During a news conference yesterday with UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer at President Trump's golf club in Turnberry, the president again called the Epstein case a hoax, blamed the Democrats, and added that he never visited Epstein's Caribbean island.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out. And that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island. It's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax.
Kind of just Mad Libs there. Auto pen, hoax, scum. The president also reiterated he has the ability to pardon convicted Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell if he wants to. Meanwhile, the Trump administration seems to believe the president's base will move on from the Epstein files. It has not. But podcaster Joe Rogan disagrees, calling out the administration for gaslighting its supporters. Here's what some of Rogan said on Friday.
Look, we still have ADHD, right, collectively as a nation, right? I mean, things move on. And I think maybe that's what they're, some people are saying, look, they've called the recess on Capitol Hill because they figure by the time they come back in September, everybody will have moved on from this, right?
Yeah.
I think they're wrong. I don't think this feels like and just looks like that one of those handful of conspiracies, again, you go to JFK or whomever, that's just going to hang around.
This
right?
is a line in the sand.
Yeah.
This one's
Yeah.
a line in the sand.
Yeah.
Because this is one where there's a lot of stuff about, when we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved.
Yeah.
We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
So Joe Rogan talking there to a former CIA officer, but the case that the president is trying to make is just not working.
There's so many parts to this puzzle, but let's start with the MAGA pushback because it's confusing.
Last week, his Justice Department said there were more than 1,000 victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Last summer, Trump said he was open to declassifying all the relevant files and the Epstein client list, and that his suicide looked suspicious. How can all those things be true and it be a hoax? I don't understand where things stand with all this.
I think the time has come for the administration to release all of the files.
How can you be surprised that a guy who deports children with cancer, supports white supremacists and Nazis,
Very fine people on both sides.
is a convicted felon and insurrectionist, and a guy who a jury of New Yorkers, including 2 MAGAs, found him liable for raping Jean Carroll? How can you be surprised that he might have been part of the Epstein Island kiddie sex club?
In 2021, as part of Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, it was revealed that Donald Trump lied about riding on Epstein's plane. He actually flew on it 7 times.
Well, now apparently Joe Rogan is turning, and he's making a few good points, like Altar Boy Johnson recessing the House is going to make people forget. Not.
Leon viewed Epstein as a confirmed bachelor with eclectic tastes. This was after his 2008 guilty plea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Christ.
Mr. Epstein's advice was worth perhaps $2 billion in tax savings to Mr. Black, according to the report.
Right.
What the
But this
fuck?
this is what Weinstein said. Eric said that there's this guy is not, he's not good. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like he wasn't a good financial advisor.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is you can say, okay, why was he collecting people around him? Why was he doing? I mean, was he keeping a file? Right, you still have to figure out what that file looks like. Part of it could have been initially self-preservation. Right. I mean, he's engaged in all sorts of activity. He gets a few people into it, then suddenly, he doesn't look so bad. Right. And he's kind of protecting himself because now I'm surrounded by people who also have to keep that secret. Right. So, but then the question becomes, is at what point is he or somebody in his little tight circle there? Are they approached, right, by anybody who's interested in some of these folks? But we don't know because we don't know who the fuck's in these files. Right. So.
Or if the files even exist.
If the files even exist. And apparently, there's nothing in there, according to Pam Bondi.
And Cash Patel. The whole thing's nuts.
Yeah.
And then, have Bongino and Cash Patel saying he definitely killed himself. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Okay, this just, the level of convenience. It's so convenient that the guards were asleep. So convenient that the cameras didn't work. So convenient that years later you have a recording of the outside of the cell, but a minute is missing from it.
And of course, if Maxwell gets pardoned,
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon.
as many people think is a possibility, how do you justify that after all we've heard about her?
This woman is a monster, okay? She's somebody who would go to recruit the little girls for Jeffrey Epstein. Anybody who's got a child in summer camp right now, she would go to the summer camp.
So Rogan has on Mike Baker, this former CIA guy, and they're talking about what Epstein might know and how that file came into being. Did he keep the list for blackmail? And that, of course, leads to the Epstein suicide and the questions around that and the possibility, could someone kill Ghislaine Maxwell? So, of course, you have to ask, what is Trump's involvement and what is he hiding?
You have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that. With a thing like this, what is the general feeling about people that you talk to that are still in the agency or people that are still involved in the government? Like, how are they feeling about this? Because, the general public is outraged, right?
Yeah.
Do the people inside, are they frustrated? Like, people that wanted this stuff to be exposed?
Yeah, it's funny because with the agency, it's not like the Bureau. The agency, I think most people honestly don't really probably give a shit about the Epstein files. They're more concerned now about this release from Tulsi Gabbard and the talk about manipulating intelligence for the 2016 election,
right,
and Russian collusion and all of that. That speaks more to the agency than the Epstein files does, just from a whose responsibility is whose, right? This Epstein thing is a DOJ FBI issue. I think if they're concerned about it, it's because of how it erodes trust in organizations, institutions, right? And that's happened a lot. So, there's a lot of good people. I know, again, every time I talk about the agency, people are like, "Fuck you, you're such a shill." But there's a lot of good people doing very difficult work for the agency.
I believe
right?
that. I believe that.
And so, I think if anything, they take it personally when people think, fuck the CIA, you gotta burn it down and start over again, like they said with the FBI as well.
I've talked about that many times. Like, you don't know what the fuck is going on in the world. The world is filled with chaos. Like, you need people that are paying attention to that shit.
So was Epstein murdered? And who would have ordered that? And there's so much here that makes it look like Trump is hiding something. First, when Maxwell was arrested, Trump said this.
In fact, when she was on trial without bail, this is what he said about her.
I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly.
President Ghislaine Maxwell
has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
I don't know that, but I do know that
she has. She's been arrested for that.
Her
you know that.
Friend or boyfriend,
Epstein,
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well.
And then when Trump was elected, everyone promised about getting to the bottom of the Epstein drama, except Trump, who started his litany of excuses. Even Vance called for the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
We have flight logs, we have information, names, that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking.
So what's to be gleaned from all this speculation? Trump lied about being on Epstein's plane. The manifest proved that. And Epstein told Michael Wolff that Melania and Trump had sex on Epstein's plane, the Lolita Express. And now Trump is obviously trying to deflect attention to Obama, Hillary, Brennan, Oprah, Beyonce, and late-night talk show hosts. And his media piglets are happy to help.
I don't know. I'd say Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. I would say McCabe. I'd say Strzok, Page. I'd say Brennan, Comey, Clapper. Send them all. Lock them all up. Send them to Guantanamo Bay. I got to jump.
Been referred, and let's hope they prosecute.
By the way, that pig was canned from Fox for sending lewd pics to women from work.
And then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
Joe Rogan, like it or not, is a force. And like many Americans, and yes, many MAGA, there's a line drawn in the sand. On this side are people who care about protecting young children from sexual predators. On the other side of the line is, well, do I have to say?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Goddamn right.
It's sitting on my desk.
Trump admitted he knew Epstein for 15 years.
Do you have no shame?
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.